this is going to be a really fun video. The 2021 True Story Podcast Guest of the Year. So you voted on it. By you, I mean the viewers, and I'm going to say fans, people that love the show. You voted on it. I had put out a post on Instagram, on Facebook, and I asked you guys to share with me what true story guest has resonated with you or inspired with you the most. And I'm so happy. First of all, I'm so happy anybody responded because, doing this, putting this on, I hear way more criticism than I ever do positivity. And sometimes you just forget, sometimes people like this thing. Some people actually like this show. So it was very heartwarming for me to receive all the different types of messages because I've definitely had different types of guests on the show. So anyway, so with that, the winner, right? The winner was Johnny Hollywood Case. He won unanimously, almost, not unanimously, but he did win by leaps and bounds. I think he got over 30 responses. He has an extremely loyal fan base. It's amazing. There were a couple, the second place and third place were neck and neck, man. They were so close. And it was, it was David Terrell, Monica Brandt. David Terrell, Monica Brandt. So shout out to both of them. I would have loved to have also made a video about you two, and maybe we will. But right now it's Johnny's turn. So Johnny, I have so much to say to you. I have so much to say to the fans, but I want to provide some context here. Johnny has been on the show twice, episode 26 and episode 51, I think. Don't quote me on that, but around that. I'm a fan of Johnny, right? Johnny's also a friend now. Johnny has become what I call a friend. And that's so awesome. And that makes me so happy that he won this because I get to share this with him. And it's just really cool. So I want to go back though, I want to go back and say why this guy was even on the show. How did it happen? Give you guys the scoop behind the scoop. And moreover, take an opportunity to tell this guy why I appreciate him, and why he inspired me to begin with and how that began. So let me just shoot with it, right? I think I first became aware of Johnny Case in 2014. He was already fighting in the UFC. It may have been his debut or maybe his second fight, but it was the UFC Fight Night 59. I remember that. And he fought Frankie Perez. And Johnny went out there young, super fit, lean, moved so fast, won by TKO. Made an impression. I remember I looked him up that night. I go, who is this guy, And then the next thing I know, over the next year, 2014, 2015, he fought all the time. He was super active. So as a UFC fan, I watch fights. I love fights. I love fighting, right? But I would definitely get the big pay-per-views and the bigger cards. And I remember vividly, he was on the McGregor-Seaver card. He won. He ended up going on like a 4-fight win streak or something like that. Okay. But he's on a McGregor card. People are talking about McGregor at this point. He's early, but people are talking about him. And then my boy Johnny's there. Boom. Oh, cool. Yeah, Johnny. And then he wins. Awesome work. Next thing I know, he's fighting on, I think, the Verdun Velasquez card. Wins again. Oh, word, man. This guy's really going. He's busy. Oh, well, he's really busy. He's kind of evolving. A lot of hype, a lot of talk about him. Sure Dog's talking about him. Like he was a star in the making for sure. Then he fought again on maybe Henderson Belfort card. Again, don't quote me, but I think that's right. Wins again. Another huge card. That was super exciting card. I was looking forward to the Belfort Henderson rematch. And then there he is, Johnny again. Super busy, super young, and evolving. Really good. I remember thinking at that point, I was like, holy crap, this guy's BJJ is probably better than mine. Like, for sure. But anyway, he was just really evolving. He was really impressing me. And then he loses his next fight by submission or something like that. Happens to anybody. He was just on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC. Like, the competition doesn't get more difficult at that level. Hey, everybody loses, so no big deal. Fights again, and then I think he loses by like decision. And I remember like feeling it was controversial. Again, I'm a fan, could have been totally biased there, but I just remember thinking, I didn't think a lot about it. The truth is, again, at that level, people lose. I didn't think he was in threat of being cut or anything like that. I just remember thinking like, bummer. And then I moved on with my life. Somewhere around that time, I started following Johnny on Instagram. And this was a turning point. This was a big turning point because you get to see somebody's personality, right? And let's say this, first and foremost, he is a prolific meme sharer, I guess, and one of the funniest people I've ever met. Like Lolo Jones, the Olympian, used to reshare a lot of his stuff too. And I would see him from her because I followed her, and see it from him. So I'm like, God, this guy is seriously hilarious. Then we go into COVID, right? So he's still fighting. He's fighting at kind of back the indie level at this point. I'm starting to dream about this podcast thing. I don't know, it's something I always wanted to do. All of a sudden, I'm at home a lot more. I'm not traveling, got a lot of extra time on my hands. And I think I'm going to make this step, So with that, I'm thinking, man, Johnny would be a really cool guest. And that was essentially the abbreviated version of what led me to reaching out to begin with. And it was simple as a message over Instagram. Hey, man, I'm a big fan. I know you have no clue who I am, but I'm a big fan. I'd love to have you on my podcast. And if you watch that first episode, that's all that is. I'm a fan. I'm a fan for everybody that comes on the show, but I'm half giddy most of the time. But he said something important. And I ended up subsequently, and this is before I had an editor, I was doing everything just on my own and just bootstrapping it. And he said something important in the interview. I encourage everyone to check it out. He said, just, it was like, hey, do you have words of advice? And mind you, this is like a young, good looking guy. He's a star, he's an MMA promoter. He's a father. He's a great fighter, amazing fighter. He like hit me with like a vulnerable answer, something I just was not anticipating. And he told everyone, just go love everyone. Like, just go love everyone. And I remember that sat with me, like, because again, I was editing my own episodes before posting, and I'm not very good at any of that, but I think I started on a Wednesday and I finished it on a Sunday night. And I kept thinking about that. And I said, I'm going to share this. I'm going to just put this out there. And I posted it, and I thought, no one knows this side of Johnny. And maybe those who know him, of course, know him. But like, to me and the other thousands of people that follow him, he just tells really funny jokes, and he punches like a lightning bolt, right? Like, I don't know that people know this about Johnny. So I put that out there. And like, it was viewed 10 times more than, not really, but like way more than the actual interview. It resonated. It got shared, it got reshared. And the people, again, the fans that voted on this very thing, who are passionate about him, they reshared it, I guess, And subsequently, my following grew. And it's not about that, but this is the whole, let's be honest and tell the whole story, right? And his fans kind of migrated and paid more attention to me. And he and I started communicating, And I guess, I don't know, I want to try to wrap this up without rambling, but I was fortunate enough to go and see Johnny's boxing debut. It was so awesome. Got to make a weekend trip out of it, a date night with my wife, and I got to like meet the guy. And he's a great guy. He's as funny as you think. He's cool. He's super down to earth. He's a good friend, and he's a good guy. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy for him, but I'm so happy that I could get on here and just mumble and keep going on and on, because he is a great guy. He's the type of guy that reaches out to you, says, how did your surgery go? He has his whole world. He's a father. He's a fight promoter. He's a fighter. He's training for fights. He's chasing a dream. He's living in reality. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he's a fighter. Consequences for his job are more severe than any of us, almost. I mean, unless you're walking a tightrope or something, so respect to this guy, and in all the ways. And I'm very happy you won, Johnny. I'm so happy you won. I'm so happy for you. You are going to receive your trophy any day in the mail now. Congratulations, everybody. Please leave a comment, share something. If you know Johnny personally, share it, tell a story. Let's give this guy the admiration he deserves. To everybody who is just watching the podcast in general, thank you so much. This has been an amazing journey, and I'm so happy to award and announce that the 2021 podcast guest of the year is Johnny Case.